All right, so we're recording. March of 2020. Yeah, we finally got it all online. So, anyway, so yeah, it's like I did a couple things in here in the spring of this year. So yeah, really a year and a half since I really got ready. And yeah, I was early in that spring. It was really good since December of 2019. And I teach like 6 or 7 classes. So yeah, it's kind of weird being back in the groove and then having a match. So it's kind of hot stuffy. But we'll get through it. You guys are healthy, all that good stuff for the most part. Awesome. Kids, family, work, jobs. Oh, okay. So you're around man at work and stuff. Every time it's no, well, that's good. Yeah. So let's see. Okay. So this is your headline page. It looks probably pretty similar to what you normally would see. Now, Ashley, I'm going to stop my video. You should still see the screen sharing, but you won't see me kind of going back and forth. You still see the screen? All right. I'll take that as a yes. Okay. So syllabus is first. This is probably one of the more intriguing thoughts. Yeah, I don't hand out any paperwork, so if you want a hard copy of the syllabus, certainly print it off. If you really need one and you don't have access to a printer, I could probably print one off for you. Just let me know. These are all hyperlinks. So we'll take you out. Not just that, Word, you can still do stuff in Word from Google Docs. So either way works. Now, all of my documents are read only. So if you want your own copy of any of these documents, you just go over to File, click File, and then you can click like, copy. Here, I'll show you. Hit File, and then you can click Make a Copy. And this goes for any of my documents. Obviously, the syllabus, you're not going to want, your own copy to type stuff in. But my assignments, my case studies, you're definitely going to want those as your own, because I have them already. The questions, you just have to type in the answer, but you can't type them in on it. You have to make your own copy. Then you can type on it, or you can download a document. So you have 2 options. If you click Make a Copy, you can retitle it, and then click OK, and it'll make an exact copy in Google Docs. So you have the exact same thing, but now it's yours. You can type into it, you do whatever you want. If you want to save it as a regular Word document, let's see, right here, download. You go to download and click Microsoft Word doc, it'll just download it as a Word doc. And then if you're used to using Word, now you've got this as a Word doc. You can download a PDF, anything you want. Again, that doesn't really come in handy with a syllabus, but I'll show you when we get to the case studies, this will come in more handy. Anyway, so the basics of the syllabus, of course. Monday. I have a calendar in there. We do have a couple of days off. So next week. So, let's see. All this stuff you already know. Oh, the Zoom room link is in here. If you need to go, my office hours are in Zoom, so if you need to meet, send me an email first, so I know that it's not just how anything else. When we see each other, that'd be nice. Could just be too convenient, wouldn't it? All right, well, I'll take what I can get. Let's see. Course information. Basically, what we're doing in here is looking in more detail at the kind of the chemical level. Now, when you were with John, you guys went through a lot of the big stuff, you know, the parts of the brain, the parts of the digestive system, kidney. You didn't really get too much into kind of like the tricky stuff, like the chemical level. That's what we call the micro scale. You may have discussed cells. I hope you did a little bit. You probably talked about mitochondria, maybe, or nucleus, or cell membrane, some of that stuff. But as far as the next level down, the smaller level is the chemical level. We spend a lot of time on the chemical level. So it tends to be a little more difficult to perceive it or to see it because it is a micro level. That doesn't mean it's going to be any harder. It's the subject matter. It's still just a lot of repetition, just kind of putting pieces together, just like you did in anatomy, putting all these puzzle pieces together. You're going to do the same thing in here. So it's physiology. It's the study of how does it work. So that's what you looked at. What is it all last semester? Now you're going to look at how does it work. So let's see. You've got the same open resource. You've got the OpenStax. So that hasn't changed. The one thing that is different, and hopefully, so we're not using visible body this semester. If you still have it, you can still use it if you need it. There are some physiology items in there, of course. And one of the apps, one of them is a little more detailed in physiology. So if you liked visible body, some of the graphics and how they describe stuff, you know, you may find it useful. You may not, but either way, you still have access. I think you get it for like 2 years or something like that. Well, the apps you have forever. McGraw-Hill, did you guys all purchase the McGraw-Hill Connect and get that? So yeah, you'll need to do that. You have time. I have one due date, and the due date is December 6th. So I'm not a stickler for due dates. So I just make one. You have to have everything done by the last day of class. So everything's open. You can work ahead. You can work at a different rate than I mean, you can do whatever you want. Okay. As far as that goes. I do have it set up though to go in a pretty organized fashion. Yeah, like stuff like those are what I call kind of milestones. Like just a lot of students do prefer to have kind of like an outline with dates. So I do include that, you know, in the calendar, but I don't, you know, you're not penalized for late work. So, but yeah, the way the calendar, I'll pull that up. The way it's set up, yeah, is to have like module 1 all done by a certain date, module 2 done by a certain date. But again, that's more for you to kind of keep order, you know, because it goes fast. And you know, by, you know, after Halloween and things get crazy, right? Just in a personal life. So that's why I leave it all open. If you so try to get as much done like early, then you don't have it hanging on your back. And there's like I said, it's set up. It's very straightforward. So we'll go through and I'll show you how it's all set up. So yeah, the McGraw-Hill course link. Once you get access, you'll go there and set up an account, and then I've got hyperlinks in Blackboard for that. All right, then let's see, course attendance, participation. Again, you know, it's really up to you how you know, attend. Because I record every day, so if you can't be here live or in Zoom live, you can watch, you can watch whatever we're doing later on if you'd like. I do have all the lecture video. So this is like lab time. All the lecture stuff is already in there. All the PowerPoints are in there for the whole semester. Well, they're Google Slides. But again, you can download them as PowerPoints. All of the lecture videos with the PowerPoints are already in there too. So, I mean, everything is set up. So our meetings every Monday are going to be, we'll do a few wet labs. I have some kits that we'll do. But primarily I want to go through just some of the basics of like exam review questions, some of the stuff you may have trouble with as we go from week to week. So some days we won't be in here more than maybe an hour and a half. Other days we'll go probably to 8. So, and again, we'll take frequent breaks, and if you need to get up and move around, we're a small group, so we don't have to worry about any distractions or anything. The grading scale, I think you can all see that. Well, a couple of you I can see are looking at it from your computer, so that's good. Yeah, you can bring your laptops or tablets to class. But this is the grading scale. So you're basically accumulating points all semester. You're going to see we have 12 units, and each unit is worth 100 points. That's how you get 1,200. And each unit has 4 items to do. So you have 12 units, 4 items in each unit. You have 48 check-offs. That's it. You have to do 48 check-offs by December 6th. That's about 3 a week. And some of them are very quick. Some of them are a little long. The labs are pretty quick. The McGraw-Hill labs, you can get those done in like between 10 minutes and 45 minutes, just to give you an idea of your time schedule. Okay, so the labs are very quick. It grades them and puts them into the Blackboard grade book as soon as you're done. They're unlimited attempts. So if you need to redo a lab or if it kicks you out or whatever, just redo it. Some of them are a little tricky. So let me know if you have issues, because you're dragging test tubes or you're dragging thermometers or you're doing stuff virtually. So sometimes it doesn't, so you want to use a laptop probably to do them. Doing them on a phone is going to be impossible. Maybe a tablet, but they're really straightforward. The Padlets are also 10 minutes to a half hour. So 2 out of your 4 checkoffs each unit, you can get done pretty snap. Okay. The other ones, the case studies, those take anywhere from half an hour to 3 hours, depending on you, I guess. Depending on the case, there's some factors, of course. And then the exams, I mean, they're timed, but you can go over the time limit. So we'll talk about all that in more detail in just a second. But anyway, I think all of you guys need B's to move on. So you need to be around that 995-ish mark, probably out of 1,200. So here are the 4 categories and the 4 items that you'll do for each unit. Engage, comprehend, practice, and apply. So the engage portion is going to be the Padlets. So and again, I'll go through all these in more detail in just a few minutes, but they're 10 points apiece, and there are 12 of them. The case studies are 20 points a pop, and you're going to have 12 of those, and so on down the line. The McGraw-Hills are 30 per activity. End up with total points per lab. And then lastly, the exams are free. And most of are very similar to what you see on this. What engineering certification or license that thing, that's what my aim is. Provide you with questions that multiple choice. The tests are timed, but again, you go over the time. So and at the time, if you're still working on it, it'll ask if you want to, or if you want to submit it. Well, if you're still working on it, and it won't pop it down the way. It'll tell me that you submitting over the time limit. I don't care, it doesn't matter to me. But I go in and manually grade it. Whereas if you get it in under the time limit, it'll auto give you the grade right. So you go over the time limit and you don't see the grade book, don't worry. So let's see. I'd give you a lot of time. It's like 100 minutes for 40 questions. So, you know, very few students go over time on the exams. All right. So anyway, college is closed next Monday, so we're not going to have class. The college is also closed on Wednesday, September 29th, which we don't meet that day, but we're not going to meet that week either. So because I have 2 advanced on Wednesday, 2 on Monday, so I want to keep everybody even. So like next week, you guys don't have Monday. Well, my Wednesday group, they're not coming either. Okay, so no class on that's week 2 next week, and then it's like 3 weeks from then. And then Thanksgiving week, I don't think we'll meet that week either. Withdraw dates and all that. None of you guys are going to withdraw. You guys want to stay on the pace you're on. Yeah, if something weird comes up in your personal lives or something, another class is kicking your butt or whatever, and you need more time or you need whatever, you need something else, don't drop the class without talking to me first. We'll work something out if, we'll figure it out. But because most of you are at the point in your nursing lives where you're kind of like itching to keep moving. So we don't want to hit too many roadblocks if possible. Course section calendar, you open that, this gives you the breakdown of everything that we're doing, broken up into basically 4 modules. Now, let me see, let me make sure. I think I can blow this up a little bit. I don't know. Is it done here? No, that's bad. Yeah, well, we'll just go with that. Yeah, either way, you guys can see it. Yeah, this is again, your 12 module or semester. So it's fine because there's a couple times a year where we don't have class. So anyway, we have some extra time at the end. So that's good. Now, module 1 is module 1 is unit 1, 2, and 3. We're going to go to the nervous system, endocrine system, and cells. Tells you what chapters and open steps that correlate to what we're doing. And then it also has a field lab. So again, when you see 2 labs, 3A, 3B, those are 15 points. So that's 30, 30, 30, and so on. And then it has the lab assignments, the star, and again, all the links are in Blackboard. So I'll show you those open right to each one. Every one of these is a link. So there'll be very little confusion, hopefully, about where we're supposed to go. So this week we're going through course intro, syllabus, and Blackboard. So the 2 stars are kind of what we're going to do in class. So next week we're not going to be together. The 3rd week we're going to do kind of like a urinalysis or a dialysis kind of cell transport lab in here. then we'll do something with muscle contraction before, and then no class this week, and so on down the line. So anyway, there are a couple of lab kits that we'll go through. But again, a lot of the time we'll spend in here, we'll be going through the questions and just kind of tidying up any loose ends. So anyway, that calendar is pretty, like I say, you'll use that if probably more than anything out of that syllabus. So anyhow, that's it for the syllabus. The rest is gateway policies. So you can, if you're got a little bout of insomnia or something, you can bust that baby out and start reading about the academic honesty policies and stuff like that. So anyway, course syllabus, course calendar, there's a hyperlink for that calendar we just looked at as well. So you don't have to dig in your syllabus. There's a link to that calendar. The COS means course outcome summary. These course outcome summaries are given to us by the state of Wisconsin, the Wisconsin Technical College System, basically to keep all of there are 14 of us campuses around the state. So all 14 of us abide by the same curriculum for A&P and your other courses. So this is basically how this course gets built. So we have 12 competencies given to us by the state of Wisconsin. So that's, if you're wondering, why are we doing this? Why are we studying this? Well, because Wisconsin Technical College System tells us to. So, and it's excellent, by the way. It flows nicely with piggybacking on what you did in general A&P. So anyhow, let's move on. That's the syllabus tab. If we click the textbook info tab, it's going to give you the link to OpenStax. It's also going to give you the link and kind of the how-to for getting your McGraw-Hill access. Okay, so there are a couple hyperlinks in there and videos you can check out if you need a little extra assistance on attaining either of those items. If you desire like a hard copy of the OpenStax text, you can get that through Amazon. So I have, we homeschool our daughters, and my one is a freshman. And so we're using OpenStax for biology, algebra, and a couple other things. And yeah, I ordered the textbooks, chemistry, right off of Amazon. They're the exact same OpenStax, but in textbook form. So some students really like text. I think I only paid about 40 or 50 for it. So they're not bad for the A&P one. Facilitator, that's just a little bit of info, some background on some of my, it's got my email links in that too. The Zoom office link, again, if you need to meet in Zoom at any time, just click that link. It'll take you right to the Zoom room. All right, so next up, so that first section, you're probably not going to do much with. Now, how-to videos, you're probably going to want to take a peek at these. If after tonight, you're still a little bit confused about how to how do you start it with the labs? Yeah, just click the hyperlink on the McGraw-Hill and just how you've already done it. I'll show you in the lab tab in Blackboard. It'll take you right to the labs you need to do. So now, if you've already done the McGraw-Hill login stuff, you're good to go. You'll never be on that website again, except through Blackboard directly to the labs you have to do. So I'll show you all that in a few minutes. All right, so anyhow, I'm going to go through how to use Padlet, how to do case studies, how to do the labs, how to take exams. But if, like I say, if you want to watch those, you can. We have a course YouTube playlist. So if you click on that, and let's see, I put a little how to save a Google Doc as a Word doc. I kind of showed you that a little bit a few minutes ago. I'll show you again in just a sec. It has the how-to videos in there. And then it's got the competencies, the lectures. So all of these are the lectures for each competency. You could also call those the units. So competency 1 is the same as unit 1. Competency 2 is unit 2, and so on. So you can watch those. So there they are, all 12 lecture videos for the semester. Okay. And then the rest of these videos, I go through and discuss. You can see I've got time markers on here. At an hour 25 to an hour 43. Okay. Case study 3 has a short little 10-minute video. Case study 4, and again here's case study 5. It's also got a little bit of PhysioX, which is stuff I used to do. I don't do that anymore, but it does. I left this video in here because I got a case study. Again, that's short, so 5-10-minute long. But when you're going to do your case studies, watch those videos. I go right through them and what I'm expecting you to do. Okay. All right. Let's see. So just continues case studies 6, 7, all the way through to case study. Here we go. Case studies 9 through 12. So it's an hour and 53 minutes. So there's a bunch. I do 4 of them right in that last video. Okay, so information on your case studies, and then all of your lecture videos are in that YouTube course playlist. There's the link to take you right to OpenStax. And again, I don't know how much you use this in general. Again, you know, some students like a hard book, and if that's the case, you can get this as a order a print copy. There's also a student resources tab that has some info too. Not a heck of a lot. I mean, it has some solutions, you know, so OpenStax has its own kind of review questions. So you can get the answers from those. I don't use them, but it doesn't, you know, anatomy is anatomy, right? No matter what book you use, it's humorous is still a humorous. So, but anyway, that's the OpenStax. You can go through that as much or as little as you like. All right, so Padlet. So this is your first kind of items. So I'll go through those on there, but here's a hyperlink to the Padlet. I think it's my home page. So advanced is all of the blue ones. Okay. So that Padlet link will take you to the home page for Padlet, but I also have them broken down later on where you can have hyperlink directly to each one. So I'll show you that in a second. So and then we'll look at Padlet and all those expectations. Helpful web links. You click that, this is just a bunch of different YouTube channels, YouTube playlists that are extremely helpful. If you are struggling with something, or if you just want more info, a lot of these videos you'll see in a Padlet is like a wiki board. It's basically kind of like a bulletin board with a bunch of different video links, and I have them broken up by the competencies. So anyway, some of the videos I have in Padlet are associated with some of these videos here. So like a lot of students really like crash course videos. Amoeba Sisters are also really entertaining and really informative. Khan Academy, certainly, you've probably all heard of that. They're excellent as well. And then there's a couple NCLEX YouTube playlists. Again, and you may use these later on, not just for this class, but you may find in some of your other nursing classes that these come in handy. So, you know, as far as learning goes, you know, most students are more or less like visual learners and kind of hands-on. So like audio, like hearing me for the last half hour, like most students don't learn very well just by listening. right? I mean, I can't listen to myself half the time, but you know what I mean? You don't learn as much just by hearing me say stuff. You have to actually watch it going on. Have to actually touch it, do it, hear it, see it, all these things, right? It's multi senses. So anyway, I'm not going to babble or bore you to death. I probably am close to there anyway. So I'll try to rein it in. We're almost done with the Blackboard kind of tour. The meat and potatoes are coming up. This next kind of area or section, this is where you're probably really going to spend most of your time in the course. This is modules and units. It's an extensive breakdown of the entire course in different folders and chapters. So modules 1, 2, 3, and 4 are kind of in these chapter books here. If you click that and open one of these up, you're in your screen, the student view is a little different than mine. So if you're looking at yours and you're looking at mine, you're maybe going, what is he doing? It's a little different just because of I can do things that you can't anyway. It's just a little different, not that much different. The idea is you can access all of these items in the module and units tabs. So again, you can check that out. It's an extensive order by order of how you want to go. So you basically just go right in order of all of these items. Has the PowerPoints, has some other PowerPoints. Now, some students find that after the first week or two, or even the first day or two of navigating from the modules units tab, some students love it and they stay there the whole semester. Other students don't prefer it. So I have all of the hyperlinks and everything that's in the modules and units a lot easier to access over here. So first of all, PowerPoint slides, if you click that, you're going to get all of the PowerPoints for the semester or the Google Slides. So when you open these, they're going to be in Google Docs or they're going to be in a Google Slides. Again, and don't worry about the dates. They don't mean anything. They're just old, kind of what we were going through. But in fact, so nervous system, part 1, again, if you want your own copy to make notes in, you just click make a copy of the entire presentation, or you can go to download and download it as a Microsoft PowerPoint. So you have options regarding how you're going to view these. These are the same. So when you watch the videos, these are the slides I use and talk about in the videos. Okay, so all of my lecture videos that are in that YouTube playlist are going to be these same slide decks. Now, one thing I do with my slide decks is I add, you can kind of see at the bottom, it says speaker notes. Now, I don't know, there's some stuff in the way, so let me bring it up. Now, there's speaker notes. This slide doesn't have any. This slide does. So some of my kind of exam questions and some of the meat of what we're talking about, because I don't want to make the slides too heavy with stuff. So I put a lot of the info, basically my lecture notes. I think John may have provided you with students. His students in the past have told me that he gives them, you know, kind of like outlines or study guides or things like that. But that may be for animal biology. So I don't know, because he teaches other classes. But I don't give out lecture notes or outlines. They're already in the PowerPoint. Like that's where my notes are. So you can access them in different ways. One way to access those, if you open up a PowerPoint or a slide in PowerPoint, download PowerPoint. So if I do that, and then I open it up as a PowerPoint, now if I, hold on, I need to share my screen, my PowerPoint screen, there we go. No, still trying to open it. This one, enable editing. So you guys can see it. Ashley, I'm going to share a different screen with you. Let's see. I'm just going to go back to that one. All right, let's try this again. So when you're in PowerPoint, you can, there it is. You can view all of my notes from the slides by going into File and then Print. And then instead of full page slides, you do, I believe it's this one. It says Notes page. And then I'll scroll down. So then you can see it gives you the slide and all my notes. Okay, so if you want to, if you want to do it that way to access the notes, that's another way of doing it. You can see all my lecture notes. All right, so anyway, a lot of my questions on the exams come from those notes. All right, I'm going to share, go back to that one. There we go. So anyway, those are the PowerPoint slides. Now, all right, so let's go through. This is where Padlet, case studies, labs, exams, this is where most students spend most of their time. All right, so Padlets, if I click that, it's going to have 2 items for each Padlet. The first item, you can see it looks like a couple of chain links. That means that's a web link. It's going to take you directly to Padlet number 1. So this is what Padlet number 1 looks like. It takes it a few minutes to kind of populate. Okay, what we're waiting for is there'll be some videos that are going to populate up at the top. Looks like they're coming. Okay, so these are short. This is a website. This is a web link actually, but the rest of these are videos. You can watch these videos. Have any of you done Padlets before or heard of it? Okay, cool. Now, a couple of things with Padlet. You can go in there right now. You don't have to open up an account or anything. And you can comment under any of these Padlets without an account, okay? Remember though, if you do that, so at the bottom, there's a plus under each one. You can see that plus. Move this out of the way. And again, if you don't open an account, what you do again, you want to somehow in the title and the heading, you put your name, or you put your name at the beginning. Anyway, you want to have your name in there. These students open an account. So anytime you need to do a Padlet, they're already logged in. They just do some comment, and it's auto. You don't have to type it. So anyway, you can set up an account if you want. It's probably over time more convenient to do so. Now, what I ask you to do for each of these, so this is competency 1. So you're going to have 12 of these total. Competency 1 is nervous system. You can watch or click on any one of the videos, all of them. Again, they're short. They're 2 to 8 minutes, probably, maybe 10 at the most. If you click on one, it'll pop it up in a screen like this. You can watch it just like this, or you can watch, you click that and it'll open it up into YouTube. So if you can, so anyway, you can just watch.
It's a typical morning for me. Hello, God.
Sorry about that. Anyway, so you can watch it from there. You can full screen it. Anyway, okay. Here's another one. This one's on pain. Again, you can watch it directly on here. I only ask, actually, this one's on pain. This one's on, I think, dissection of the brain. Do you guys dissect sheep brains with John? Cool. A little bit, maybe? No? Yeah? Okay. Maybe he didn't tell you what animal. They had little tiny buggers, so yeah, fit in your palm of your hand. The sheep aren't very bright, so they have small brains. They're intelligent in other ways, probably. How to find food, where to sleep. So anyway, pain, and then 2-minute neuroscience playlist. I only ask that you comment or watch any one of them. They're all helpful. These each kind of apply to the objectives under each one. So under each competency. So if we look at WID's competencies, we would see there's some information about basics of brain anatomy, the basics of pain. There are a couple of items on neurotransmitters. So anyhow, you can watch all of them. I would recommend it. They're pretty short. You don't have to comment under all of them. You only have to comment under one of them. Okay, and then after you do that, so each of these links, competency 1, 2, etc., that'll take you right to the specific Padlet. Once you've done it, you want to click this. This is a little kind of like a survey. It's just it's a 1-question Likert scale kind of survey. It says the Padlet videos and websites were beneficial to your understanding of nervous system concepts. So you just click one of them. Strongly agree, neither, what is Padlet? I hope you don't click that. It's there, just in case you're not sure what the hell I'm talking about. So anyway, and I look at these at the end of the semester, kind of throughout, but mainly at the end to see. It's different for online. This past summer, I had 85 online advanced students. This semester, hybrid, I have more classes, but I only have like 16 A&P students advanced. So, but anyway, this summer, out of like 85 students, the consensus for the Padlets has pretty much been agree or strongly agree. Whereas if the consensus was these suck, or I don't like them, I disagree with the point of it, and they're all anonymous. I can't see individual student ones, but then I would change some things up or we'd discuss. But anyway, I've tried to make it so the videos are informative, educational, even a little bit entertaining, and relatively short. So, and they go with your competencies, they go with what you're doing for class. So that's it. You do that, and that gives you, you're done with your Padlet. So you have 12 of those. Some students go through and do all 12 of them in the first week, and then they're done with a quarter of their checkoffs. 12 out of 48 done. Again, you do it however you want. Okay. The next one, case study assignment. So any questions on Padlets and kind of what's going on there? They're pretty straightforward and they're very helpful. And I would go in order. I mean, if you choose to do the course and have it laid out, you do the Padlets first, you kind of watch some of those videos, it wets your whistle, gets you engaged a little bit. Then you step in and you do the case study for Unit 1, which is on neural disorders. So again, the case studies all go with the unit. So over again, how did I get here? Again, along the side is the hyperlink for case studies. I just click that, click case study 1. It's going to give me the drop box over here. Have you guys done drop boxes before for assignments? No, yes, and yes. Okay, good.
So I'll go through. So this is what should pop up. Tell you what, I'm going to go into student mode, student preview mode. So this is your kind of what you're seeing on yours. So I click competency 1. Oops, that was Padlet. I'm in the wrong. So case studies, there we go. Neural disorders, I click that. It's going to take me to something that looks like this. Tells you how many points are possible. And then it has a click to view the case study. And again, these dates you don't have to worry about. These are dates that don't matter. Your date is December 6th. I can go in and change that so it doesn't throw you off. But we're well past August 14th. Let's see. So anyway, if you click that to view the case study, it's going to pull up some background info. Okay, so what I would do is probably have both the case study open and then the case study questions. The questions are again, everything's in a Google Doc. You're not going to be able to type right into this. Okay, so this is where your make a copy comes into play, or download it as a Word document. So this is what I grade. This is what you're going to put into the Dropbox. Now, most students tend to like working in Word, which is fine. So then you would go to download Microsoft Word doc. And again, if you're cool with Google Docs and Google Sheets and all of that stuff, then you just click make a copy and it'll give you the option to have an exact copy, but in Google. All right, so if I open up the Word document, yeah. So here's the Word document. So this is what you can type right into. And then you can save it. You can save it as whatever you want. Just CS1, and then your last name is fine. You know, it doesn't matter. Well, however you are best able to identify it. Okay, so anyhow, these are the case study questions. And then the case study itself was the first thing we opened over here. Let me go back to, oops, share. Okay, so we go back to the case study. And here's the case study is broke. This particular one, it's a lot of them are broken up into different parts or sections. So you have part 1 is the patient shows up and you get kind of a basic intake. And then it kind of goes from there. They're not all the same. They're different. But anyway, it gives you a little bit of background. The thing about case studies, you guys, is a lot of it is subjective, meaning it's kind of your own opinion a little bit. You know, like you don't have, like, for instance, this first section, you don't really have a lot of info. Mrs. Smith says, I got a headache. Okay, tell me a little more. She gives you a couple more little tidbits. Then I ask you right away, what do you think might be going on? Well, there's no real right or wrong answer, right? I mean, it could be anything. The idea is I want you to just, you know, go off of what you already know. Okay. Then there'll be some that ask you to dig a little deeper. Go into some of your notes, or go into Google some of the terminology that I might be asking. Like I might ask you about what is myasthenia gravis or gravis. You can look that up. The thing about most of my case studies, I have links at the bottom. So if you scroll down, there'll be links that'll take you to the information that you need to answer the question. The other thing is you want to watch my videos that I showed you earlier that go through the case studies. Okay. So next week, oh wait, we don't meet next week. In 2 weeks when we meet again, I'm going to pull up case study 1, case study 2, maybe case study 3, and we'll kind of go through them together a little bit. I'll ask if you have questions and stuff like that. Okay. So between now and 2 weeks from now, try to at least do 1 or 2 Padlets. Try to do at least one. First case study is not, none of the case studies are that bad. There are a couple that are a little more intense, but they're all pretty straightforward. Okay? And again, they're not really right or wrong answers. There will be a few right or wrong answers. Like I'll just ask you, what is the enzyme that does this? Well, there's a definite enzyme that does this. So it'll be obvious when there's a right or wrong answer. When there's a, what do you think might be? That's just, it's on you. What do you think it might be? You might be wrong about what you think it might be, but it's not going to get marked wrong unless you leave it blank. Okay. And I always put comments. So when you get done with your case studies, you put them in the Dropbox and I grade them. You'll go into your grade book and there'll be a little comment bubble. Click that. I'll have some comments in there about maybe what I saw that, you know. Okay. So anyway, this first case study is broken up into a couple different sections. Okay, so you can read through those. And like I say, in 2 weeks, we'll go through case study 1, 2, and 3. So here's these recommended resources, show up kind of throughout. They're web links. They're in there to help you answer the questions. All right. You guys are nursing students. You're sharp. You guys are problem solvers. You like to dig around anyway, figure things out. So that's what the case studies are for. They're to kind of give you a little bit of a real world spin on kind of what we're doing. All right. So now, what do I do with it once I finish it? All right. So case studies. So now that you're ready to submit it, you can either click browse local files. So if you save that document that you just, that Word document, if you type it into this Word document, then again, you'll save it. CS1 Smith or whatever. Okay. Click browse local files and it'll pull up your PC and then we can find documents. So I just grab and drop it, or I could double click it and it'll populate it. But either way, there are multiple ways to put your item in there. If you save it as, if you're going to use, so that's if it's a Word document. Are any of you planning on doing it as Google Docs? You guys going to do your case studies as Word docs? Okay. So you have any questions on how to drop them in the Dropbox? No? Okay. So if you do have questions, let me know. If you do it as a Google document, down here you would need to, so just, I'll go through it just real quick. But if you were going to save it as a Google Doc, you'd have to click the share button. And then you'd have to give me permission down here. You have to change, give me permission, copy that link, and then you put the link down here. So if you're not doing Google Docs, and don't worry about it. If you're gonna do Word document, then you know what to do. And then lastly, don't forget to hit submit. It happens, believe it or not. Some people will put everything in the Dropbox and then they're good and they X out and I never got it. Doesn't happen that often. But anyway, that's that for case studies. Any questions on those? Again, there are 12 of them. You can go in whatever order you'd like. All right, here are the labs. Our last class is December 6th. My grades are due December 8th. So if you end up, as we get to the end, if you still need another day to get stuff in or two, let me know. That's why this says December 8th. I leave them open an extra couple days, but I think you guys will be just fine. You're a good bunch. So, so anyway, these are the hyperlinks for the labs. So once you've signed up with your McGraw-Hill, you just click the lab 1, and it'll take you right out to, oops, anyway, yours will because you're a student account. Mine goes to something different because I'm an instructor. So, but anyway, I'll show you what they look like. Let me see. Oh, I could go here already in this class. See, it won't let me access because it's students only. So I have to go into my teacher account, which I'm not going to. You guys, I'll leave in 2 weeks when we meet up, let me know how things went with, well, I'll know because I'll look in the grade book. But if you have issues between now and in 2 weeks, let me know. You shouldn't if you signed in or bought the access. But again, shoulds and reality sometimes don't align. So anyway, this will take you. Let me see if I could find. So here are the labs. Looks something like. So it's not going to let me show you how to do it. So. There we go. Here we go. Student view. So yours will look more like this. Your McGraw-Hill lab. Your labs. Again. So it'll give you, so this is what they look like. This is the first one. It'll give you some background info, key concepts, and some of the basics. For this one, it's about reflexes. Then you hit continue to labs simulation. And it'll just ask you a series of questions. And again, those questions, you can minimize it if you want. You can go back to the introduction if you. I guess it's going to make me answer the question. So anyway, and then what you'll do, I don't want to give anything away. I'm just going to click the first one I see. There we go. I'm going to get rid of that. Okay, and then it just asks me to select the reflex hammer. Use the crosshairs to guide your thumb over the biceps tendon and strike it with the hammer. Now let's see the biceps tendon. There we go. I know what I was dragging it. See how I'm dragging it? You just have to click it. There you go. Like, what is going on here? And then up, and there's crosshair. Tap it. Record your observations. And lab data. So go to lab data. Biceps reflex. Did we get flexion at the elbow or extension at the elbow? Well, if you know what the biceps does, it flexes the elbow. So that's what we saw him do. So you click, and again, if you click the wrong answer, it won't let you move on until you do. So it's pretty much a slam dunk with these labs. All right, then you go to phase 2. There you go. We did all 3 of them. And then so on and so on. So that's one of the labs, one of the McGraw-Hill labs. first one. So anyway, those are the labs. Again, right when you get to the end and finish and submit, it'll give you a grade, and if you and it'll populate it right into Blackboard. If didn't get the grade you wanted, which, like I say, it pretty much won't even let you move on without getting it correct. But sometimes students have issues with moving, like clicking things, or the compatibility is weird. So then they'll just hit submit. So they'll get like a 12 out of 30 or something. Let me know if that happens, because then I can fix it for you. So anyway, those are the labs. And then finds, any questions on those? Okay, good. Lastly are the exams. 12 of those. There's no midterm and there's no final. Okay, you have 12 competencies, 12 items, 4 in each. You have 48 things to do. The exams do kind of, in the whole class, it does kind of piggybacks and accumulates. So you'll see similar concepts and questions recurring throughout the semester. So 2 hours I put as time limit for 40 questions. Okay? The odds of you needing extra time are slim. If you do, it's not a big deal. Okay, hit begin. You're going to have all the questions given to you at once. These questions are from a pool, a test bank pool. Now, the first test bank, and I give you the test banks. They're right here. Under exam review questions, those are the test banks for the exams. Now, and again, they're in Google Docs. Oh, and a few of them, it looks like I also put them as Word docs. I don't know why. Oh, they're in there twice. I don't know why. They're the same thing. So if you scroll down, you'll see kind of a repeat. It's the same questions. I think when I copied the course in, it must have kept some of them or something. But these are the test banks. Now, the first test bank is enormous. It's just so much information on nervous system. You guys probably last semester spent quite a bit of time on nervous system, endocrine system. It's just a lot of stuff. So anyway, I do hit you with a pretty big one at the beginning. Now, the thing about the exams is they are not only, they're timed, but you have 2 hours, you can go over time. They're unlimited attempts. So you can take the exams as many times as you want, because the chances of you getting the same questions are kind of slim, because depending on the question bank. Like this one, exam 1, the test bank's like 250 questions. So you're gonna get a random 40 out of that bank. If you take the test a second time, you'll get 40 questions. You may get some of the same ones, but but anyway, some of the test banks are small. They're like 70 questions, 60 questions. So what I recommend to students that they do is, because you can take the exams as many times as you want, and they're open until the last day of the semester. It keeps your highest score, by the way. So what students generally do is they click on the review questions, and they'll watch the video, the lecture video. They'll have their PowerPoint out to go with that lecture video with the notes, and they'll have the review questions. So they're kind of like doing all of this at once. So, and again, I don't want to say I'm sorry or I apologize. I guess I'm giving you a fair forewarning. The first exam bank is huge. The rest of them are nowhere near this. But there's so much good stuff that it was 400. I've trimmed it down over the last year, and I think I've got it down to like 250 now. But again, it's 250 now. You're gonna get a random 40 of those. again, they're not all this big and bold, but students will go through and they'll answer these questions before they sit and take the test, or while they're doing it. Either way. So you can use your notes, you can use your books, you can use whatever you want. You've got 2 hours plus to do the test. So the idea is you are going to have to do a lot of digging and problem solving and critical thinking just to find some of these answers. So that's how we found students learn. They don't learn by me just saying, know these 25 things. I'm going to test you on these 25 things and you can just check them off. A year from now, I ask you about those. There's no connection to that material. You just did it for me. I don't want you to do anything for me. Don't. I want you to do it for you and your livelihood. And part of you and your livelihood and understanding and grasping this information that's also important for your progression in the nursing program, as well as it's being a nurse, means that you have to dig. You have to find, and you make these connections. I won't make them for you. I'll provide you with everything I can, and I'll get you there. But you ultimately, by you doing, you make the connections. It's more meaningful long term. So that's the method behind the madness of the exam style that I use. Some background, by the way. I'm Kevin. I don't think I even introduced myself. I hit the ground running. I've been a college professor of anatomy and physiology since the year 2000. This is year 21. I started, cell phones were barely a thing, right? Computers, internet was Google, that was around, but it was still pencil and paper, right? It was still memorize this stuff. And over time of teaching nurses and pre-med students and physical therapy students, orthopedic students, surgical techs, over all these years, over the last probably 7 years or so, I've started to develop, with the help of other colleagues from around the country who teach anatomy and physiology, we worked on understanding pedagogy more. How do students learn? Is this about me? No, it's about you. It's about us together working to understand the material for use, right? For applying. So the idea is you'll get a grade at the end, but hopefully you've worked your minds and to really understand the applicability principles of what we're doing, right? Because you want to apply this. So what we found is that, testing is different than ever before. Assignments are different than ever before. What we do in class, different than ever before. Okay? It's not just me standing up here clicking through a bunch of slides and you guys scribbling down notes and passing out. And then I give you a test after a couple of weeks and fingers crossed, you cram and hopefully you remember those 50 things I said you got to know. For me, those days are long gone. Thank goodness. Because I want nurses and doctors and care specialists that actually, took the time and energy, put effort into understanding some of the very basics of what you're doing in the clinic. So that's what we're doing. So anyway, so in a couple of weeks, if you're kind of ready to start doing exam 1 or 2 or 3, and you want me to answer some of these, I can give you the keys even, to some of these. If you're like kind of at that point, I filled it out, I want to know, just email me, let me know, or tell me what you need, and do what we got to do. Okay, so I won't give you the keys, but I guess metaphorically give you the keys to the kingdom. All right, so that's your exams. They're all the same, 40 questions, 40 multiple choice questions. They're from a test bank. Those test banks are in there. You can take them an unlimited amount of time and your highest score is kept. Okay, you have questions. So those are your 4 things. You have 12 Padlets, 12 case studies, 12 lab assignments, well, really 16, but 12-ish, and 12 exams. There were 10 points for the Padlets, 20 points for the case studies, 30 points for the labs, 40 points for the exams. That gets you to 100 each week or each unit. You have 12 of those to do. You can knock them out in any fashion you want to. Pace yourselves. Time management is crucial. You know that already. The fact that you're in a hybrid class does help with time management because we get to see each other and we get to talk about things. And, you know, whereas online, you're on your own, and I check in occasionally, like weekly, and I very rarely get responses. So I just assume students are okay. I grade stuff. And it never fails. By the end, there's always a few that are still scrambling with 2 weeks to go to get 12, 14 weeks of stuff done. So anyway, time management is huge. You have the ability over the next, between now and Thanksgiving is 12 weeks. So you can get this whole course done by Thanksgiving and be done with the semester. So just a little incentive, maybe, you know, I'm not trying to rush you or hurry you through, but I do want you to pace yourself and understand that time moves fast. And we'll be to Thanksgiving before you know it. So anyway, that's really all I had for tonight, was to just kind of go through the basics of Blackboard, the shell, your course expectations. You know, so between now and in 2 weeks, try to get module 1 or unit 1 knocked out. Heck, try to get the first module. You could get all 3 Padlets done, all 3 labs done. Well, there's 4. There's a 3A and a 3B, but 4 labs, 3 case studies, 3 Padlets, and then the exams. And if all you still have to do is the exams by the time we get back together, you know, anyway, we'll just check in, see where we are in 2 weeks, and jot down questions or put them in an email, or, you know, so when we get back together, now we can discuss them. We will do some wet labs in here. There'll be, but I'm not going to collect paperwork for those. I may put some sort of kind of extra credit, like quiz or something that related to the wet labs. So by performing the wet labs and then going in, take a little extra credit quiz for 10 extra credit points based on that wet lab, we'll probably do something like that. So again, because I don't want to collect stuff. I don't want you to feel uncomfortable, you know, just want to keep it simple that way too. There are some, I have about 4 or 5 kits. So that's a potential for 40 or 50 extra credit points. That's the equivalent of 1 exam. So, you know, so there's some incentive too for coming, you know, but you guys planning on coming each Monday, or how that you like? Okay, good, excellent. I'm going to talk to, I have a morning class on Wednesday, and there's only 3 students, and I'm going to see if those 3 maybe want to come at night and join us, because it's such a small group. And but you know, small is fine too. I like small, but this class was full at one time, and a few students, I don't know what happened. I opened Blackboard a week early. I think it scared a couple people off. I better shouldn't do that. I usually wait till I usually don't open it till like it would have been open when you woke up this morning. Did you guys check? Did you guys see that? Oh, okay. Oh, shoot, I better get there. Cool. Well, it's available. Make sure you check your gateway emails now that school's in session. I do announcements. I'll probably do a reminder announcement, this weekend. But since we meet every Monday, I probably won't do a heck of a lot of announcements. But yeah, that's it. How'd you guys do in general? Did you like it? Went well? Did you learn a lot? Was it hard? Yeah. Yep. General, if you did well and you enjoyed it,